This here is issue number 1 of Amy Jo Johnson's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers The Return comic by Boom Studios. This issue continues the story from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Reimagine. 22 years ago, the Rangers defeated Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed. After saving the world one last time, the team broke up. And now on to the present. At the old command center, a fight is taking place. Someone reaches for their blade blaster, and we see that person is in fact the Red Ranger. He fires shots into the darkness. However, blasts from the shadows fly towards the Red Ranger and knock him down. The morpher comes out of the holster, and the power coin is also removed. For those that are really into the details, the morpher is upside down like the toy from the 1990s. But anyway, the removal of the morpher and power coin results in the Red Ranger powering down, and this is an older Jason. A figure from the shadow says that they are the past, come back to haunt Jason, and they are the future. Now in Angel Grove, we're at the Trini Kwan Memorial Park and Youth Centre. This was touching. Like the Power Rangers TV show, Trini died here in the comics universe. Both in the story and in reality, this is a nice tribute to Thuy Trang, the actress that played Trini in the original TV show. Billy and Zack are on stage giving speeches, but we see familiar faces like Ernie, Bulk and Skull in the crowd too. We also learn here that people know Zack was the Black Ranger. The crowd have Black Ranger clothes, Black Ranger backpacks, etc. We see Kimberly walking away and looking at an old photo of her and Trini from 1994 at the youth centre. These scenes from 1994 are probably some of the most nostalgic I've seen from any of the Boom Studios Power Rangers comics. This is the 1990s. These are the clothes the Rangers wore from the TV show. They've not been modernised like the other comics reimagined them. It also feels a bit sad because you can see Trini and Tommy. The actress and actor that played these characters are now unfortunately gone. The sadness continues in the next scene at the graveyard. Zack finds Kimberly and she tells him she's trying to keep a low profile. Zack persuades Kimberly to join him and Billy to grab something to eat at a place that's quiet and very low profile. We learn here that Kimberly now goes by the name of Emma Phillips. As Kimberly turns to leave the graveyard, we see the tombstone belongs to Tommy. The character died in 2001. At the diner, Zack says it's unfair that they couldn't tell the world that Trini was a Power Ranger. It turns out that in order to protect the other Rangers' identities, Zack would reveal he's the only Ranger from Angel Grove. The idea was to make people think the other 5 Rangers came from other parts of the world. Also, Kimberly, like Amy Jo Johnson herself, resides in Canada. That was a nice touch. A big positive of Zack revealing himself to be the Black Ranger is that he launched an environmental charity event, the Clean Power Hip Hop Keto Festival. Once a year, they get the biggest DJs, dancers and martial artists and have a good time powered entirely by clean energy. Billy is running a telecom company, but it actually exists to fund a secret project. He combined some of Alpha's remains with some of the Rangers' old technology, looking to mass produce the means for safe teleportation. An example for its use could be to teleport diseased cells out of a sick person. It is hinted Trini passed away from a disease. Anyway, Billy is doing this with his power coin, just like Zack uses his power coin to generate the clean energy for his charity event. When Kimberly asks if Jason knows about this, Zack and Billy tell her that Jason was working as a firefighter when a few years ago an arson downtown led to a lot of deaths. Jason couldn't move on from it, and he disappeared. Jason morphed and started using his powers to help people in trouble, before turning to crime fighting and even going rogue on counter-terrorism missions. He asked Zack and Billy to stop using the Morphin grid because he wanted all the power to remain permanently morphed. Billy discovered that someone else was using the grid besides the 3 of them. They didn't know who it was and assumed it was Kimberly. Jason and whoever was using the grid stopped in the previous week. Zack wants them to become Power Rangers again and look for Jason. Kimberly doesn't want to and prepares to head to the airport. Billy tries to get Kimberly on board as they need her and her Zord. It turns out Kimberly's Zord is the only one left, presumably the Firebird Thunderzord. But Kimberly gets in a taxi and leaves. On the way to the airport, she is texting somebody. but we don't know who it is. We see there is a ring on Kimberly's finger, so could it be she's texting her daughter? The next day in Canada, Kimberly is reminiscing when there's a knock on the door. The person knocking is an Asian girl called Selena. She claims that Trini was her mum's cousin. Kimberly tells her there's been a mistake and her name is Emma Phillips. Selena says she is Kimberly, and she holds out the same photo Kimberly was looking at, as well as the saber-toothed tiger power morpher. Drawing parallels with Min from the Power Rangers TV show, a young relative of Trini wants to be the next Yellow Ranger. And that is it for now. I really enjoyed this first issue. This feels different from the other Power Rangers comics because this one is co-written by the actress that played a Power Ranger. Amy Jo Johnson and Matt Hodson put real-life elements into the story, mixing it into the world of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TV show. We get this reimagined story of Power Rangers, although it does share similarities with the Once and Always special. The images depicting the early 90s were quite moving. Childhood memories came back to me, but also there's a sadness knowing that two of the Rangers in real life have passed on. I will of course be sticking with the story and hoping that there will be a good ending for the surviving Power Rangers.